Hi everybody, welcome to J&S Farms. Today I am continuing my So You Want to Homestead series, and this is video number 5, and today I want to touch on homestead safety and making time for yourself. Okay, so now that you have all of your animals and your homestead and you're kind of getting things going, you need to think about safety and how you're going to handle animals in a way that they and you are not going to be injured. Now with the smaller livestock, it's not as pressing, but when you have the larger livestock like the cattle or horses, and then the medium-sized livestock like the pigs and the goats and sheep, things like that, those guys, the medium-sized livestock can be just as dangerous as the large livestock can. So knowing how to handle them properly and safely is kind of a big thing. I have what I call my standard operating procedure, and that is I feed all of my animals the same way and in the same order every day. With animals, routine is a really big deal for them. They get really antsy and really impatient if it's kind of deviated from a whole lot. My animals are used to my kids running around, and they're used to having my kids feed them and things like that. Now the larger livestock, it's not, I don't let them feed them unsupervised. I do let them come and help me and things like that. But with the chickens and the rabbits and things like that, I kind of turn them loose. They know what they need to do. They know how to properly feed them. We don't leave doors open. We don't leave cages open. They're old enough now to know better. But with younger kids, especially with, say, you know, a young one and rabbits, well, their little instinct is to stick their finger in there to pet that little bunny, but that little bunny can nip that finger, and if it's a little tiny finger, rabbit's teeth are kind of like a pair of scissors. So you really gotta be careful. Now the having the routine to feed the animals, it is a safety thing, and having animals in the proper pens when they need to be before you introduce the grain to them, or whatever kind of feed that you have chosen for them. Animals are very food-oriented creatures. They want their food. They want it now. They're kind of like a little toddler, and they'll do anything to get it. You have, say, cattle, for example, that are brought to a bucket to follow you on a bucket with a bucket, and you don't properly get yourself between either a fence or know how fast you need to walk, or whatever. They can quickly surround you, and they want what you have. And they're not being mean. They just want what you have, and they're going to get it. So set up the proper safety ways to actually feed them so that you're not in danger, and really so they're not really in danger, but if they trample over one another, they can injure each other or something like that. So with rabbits, you wouldn't think, oh, a rabbit's gonna be really dangerous, but like I said, their teeth are like scissors. They can pinch a little finger pretty darn good, or they scratch. If you don't pick them up properly, you don't know how to handle a rabbit properly, they scratch. That's their defense mechanism, is they get those back legs and they can reach all the way up over their head and come all the way up over, and those nails are very sharp. I have scars on my arms that I can remember each and every one because they're pretty bad. And I didn't follow my rules that I have. It's an easy fix. They make little sleeves that go from your wrist all the way to your elbow that prevent a lot of the scratches or biting. So slipping those on really takes very little time, and it can save you from getting scratched really badly and things like that. So goats and sheep, they can be pretty dangerous as well. Sheep, my grandpa raised a lot of sheep. He had about 200 or so when I was growing up. And he had this one ewe. He had these big long troughs that he would feed them in. And this one ewe had a vendetta against me, I guess. All of us grandkids called her One Ear because she was attacked by a coyote when she was a lamb, and it chewed off one of her ears. And it didn't matter what she was doing. If we were in that pasture and she seen us, if we didn't see her in time, she would get us. She would chase you up and over the fence. So we really had to watch out for that ewe. And Grandpa was kind of of the mindset, you know, well, you just kind of live and learn kind of thing. He kind of let us do and learn and experience things for ourselves. Now, he would warn us, but we learned pretty quick to watch out for that one ewe. And to this day, I still remember her. So, anyway, and during breeding season, like a billy goat, when they are in, you know, full rut, their testosterone is way up there, and most of the season they may be pretty docile, you know, but when it's breeding season, you cannot trust them. You have to keep one eye on them because, you know, their hormones are raging, and, you know, they could knock you over, they could butt you. That could really affect, you know, your back. Those animals, they can get pretty large, and if they hit you full on, their heads are designed to take a beating. And they could break your back pretty easy, or break your leg if they hit it in the right spot. So, kind of knowing your animals, but having a safety net when you do actually feed them is really kind of important. When my buck is in with my nanny goats, I feed him, and I latch. I have my pan, and I feed him in his pan, and then I have a latch that I hook him up to, and then I go in the pen, do what I need to do. So he's tied up, he's happy with his grain, and I come back on the other side of the fence and I unlatch him. Not to say he's not a mean goat, but he can hurt me. And when all he's thinking about is his ladies, he can be pretty dangerous. Chickens and geese. Now, the chickens usually aren't, unless they've got a clutch of you know, little peepers, they're usually not, you know, aggressive. However, the roosters, those bad boys can become aggressive, and they can be just real nice roosters for the longest time, and then one day they decide they don't like you, and they're going to flog you. When I was probably 12, I went out to get the eggs from the chicken house, and I stepped out the door, and one of my feet was still, you know, kind of stepping out, and the rooster came up and flogged my foot. And of course, as a kid, I never wore shoes, so I didn't have any shoes on, And this guy, his spurs were this long. They were huge. His spur went into my foot. It pretty well went almost all the way through it. And it was very painful. And it just took a second. And that rooster had never offered any aggression whatsoever before. My dad, the next day that chicken didn't have spurs. Let's put it that way. So it can take just a moment for something like that to happen. And that took a long time to heal. I remember that very, very vividly. It was pretty long, and he got his spur all the way in there. So the risk of infection from something like that was pretty great. Anyway, and ganders, when there's a new, when they hatch out little babies, those ganders are very, very protective of those babies. So I don't know if you've ever been flogged by a goose or a gander. It does not feel good. It stings really badly. And yes, I know that from first-hand experience, so we're not going to go into that. Okay, sorry guys, my camera ran out of battery. So, it's just kind of some things to think about as far as safety on the homestead. Kind of know what you need to be thinking about as far as kids, because animals can hurt them pretty badly. So kids' safety, your safety when you feed the larger livestock or the medium-sized livestock even. So keep that in mind when you're setting up your infrastructure or getting your animals. So just really be thinking in terms of safety as you go along. Okay, so machinery is also very dangerous on a homestead. Tractors, if you fall off of that sucker and it's still rolling, that tire's going to go right over, the back tire's going to go right over you and can kill you. And if you're, say you have, I don't know, a plow hooked onto the back of that sucker, it's really not going to be rolling, I guess, if you have a plow, but you can get hurt pretty bad. I know several people that have missing fingers, and I know of a few that have died because they didn't take those few extra minutes to think about the safety of the situation. So, and then of course you always want to have a first aid bag on hand for different things. A list of emergency contacts if you get stuck in a situation. I really try to have my cell phone on me at all times in my pocket. I'm not going to say I'm perfect at it, but I really try to have that on me, because say I'm in the back pasture and I break my ankle in a hole, well, walking from clear back there to the house is going to be next to impossible. So if I have my phone, I can call one of my neighbors that I know is going to come and help me at least get to the hospital. So that's another kind of safety thing. If you don't even like cell phones, there's other options. There's walkie-talkies that can go pretty good distance if you want to have your neighbor have one, or something like that, or have a kind of a system set up where you kind of check on each other or something during the day. Let's see. As far as the safety goes, it's kind of unique to each homestead. So I can't really tell you how to do it, but you can maybe research some different ways of kind of doing it safely. All right. Switching gears to the making time for yourself. Now, homesteading is very hard work. It's very time consuming, demanding at times. There's, 1,000 different things that need to be done in the day. You not only have your animals, but you have your garden, if you choose to have one. Things need to be brought in to be processed, worked up, canned. Animals need extra water in the summertime. In the wintertime, extra bedding, and they do need to have waters checked in the wintertime as well because they freeze. Making them comfortable makes for more robust animals. So a homestead is really hard work, but it's really rewarding, and it's just really, I think it's one of the best ways to live, in my opinion. I may be biased because I've lived this lifestyle my whole life, and I just don't want to live any other way. Now, what I do, and I've started doing this recently because it's easy to get overwhelmed, and when I get overwhelmed, I get a little cranky. And I don't like being cranky to my kids or to my husband. It's just not fair to them, because this is the way I choose to live, and my kids didn't necessarily choose to live this way, but they do. So what I do is I take at minimum 5 minutes on a busy day. Sometimes I take an hour on days that, aren't as hectic or busy. But in the summertime, or the spring through the late fall, my day is full. And I take a few minutes and I just sit and let my mind wander, go blank. I always try to find a quiet spot. My favorite spot is down by the pond. There's a tree down there I like to sit under and just kind of sit there, and I'll just either stare at the water or I'll just sit there and close my eyes and listen. It kind of gives me a chance to refresh my mind, and I'll sit there as long as I need to. But usually about 5 minutes is all I need. If I'm having a really bad day, nothing's going right, you can bet I sat there a lot longer than 5 minutes. Sometimes I just sit and I read. I'll sit and I'll work on my crocheting. I don't get to do a lot of that in the summertime because I am so busy, but I will break it out if I need to. That's kind of a relaxer to me, is to kind of sit there and focus on one thing and just and think. I do, another thing I do, I try to find joy in the small things. My kid may say something that's just like, "Child, what were you thinking?" And you sit and you think, it's like, a child's mind is kind of a unique thing, and it's full of wonder and promise. So it's kind of neat to see the small things on the homestead. Not only that, when you see a baby animal having fun, like the little goats, they're a big stress reliever. They're so funny to watch, and it's really, really kind of fun. Never take yourself too seriously. I used to do that in my younger years. I thought, gotta get this done, this done, this done. And I gotta do it right. I gotta get it done right. And this was before I really seriously got into what I'm doing now. And I learned, one of my biggest epiphanies was, I just need to embrace when I fail. because you're gonna fail. And in my opinion, failure is the best way to learn, because you learn how not to do something, for one, and two, it gives you, the more you fail, it gives you a better confidence boost when you actually get it right. I can fail at something, you know, 5 or 6 times, and then when I get it right, when I finally get it, or it finally happens the way it's supposed to, it's really a really great feeling. And so don't be afraid to fail. It's part of the process. Knowing your physical and mental limitations. I do have physical limitations. When I was, oh gosh, I don't even remember how old I was. I was injured by a horse. Screwed up my back really badly. It hit my sciatic nerve, and to this day I have chronic back problems. When that happened, I was bedridden for like 4 months. The only time I could get up was to go to the bathroom, and that was a chore. It was really hard, and our bathroom at the time was 10 feet away from our bed. So, know your physical and your mental limitations, because, you know, sometimes it's pretty exhausting. Some days are better than others, but you just really try to enjoy everything, and learn from everything, and take away from, you know, every experience. Homesteading is a really great lifestyle. It's very rewarding, and it's just, I don't know how to explain it until you live it. I can't tell you that it's going to be the greatest thing ever, because you may not like it. But it's one of those things where it's satisfying, and at the end of the day, you know that what you did that day, it mattered, and it was meaningful. And I don't know. I don't really know how to explain it, because everybody's experience with homesteading is different. And don't give up when it gets tough. Stick through it until you are really just, I'm done. I don't want to do it anymore. Try. Give it, you know, some time. Especially if you've never done it before. It's a process. And then, you know, if you get yourself overwhelmed, cut back until you feel, I can handle this. I can do this part. I can do this much. And then if you feel that's what you need to stay, where that's the level you need to stay, then stay there. And, you know, there's no one size fits all on homesteading. It's, you know, you can have a backyard homestead and be just happy with it. You can have a 100-acre homestead and be happy with it. Just enjoy what you have and embrace it. So I hope this was helpful for you guys today. Hope I didn't ramble on too much. And you guys have a good day. Take care. And any questions, feel free. See you later. Bye. Oh, I didn't know they were behind me. Look. These are my little cats. Oh, these are the girls' cats, actually. This is Anna, little white one, and Miss no, I'm sorry. That's Elsa. That's Anna. I bet you can't guess where they got the names. Anyway, have a good day. Take care. Bye.